Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Dragonfly Oracle card reading. So I am going to be doing a little bit of a reading today, in hopes to provide some information to prepare people for the coming of Three Eye Atlas in December. So this is just a little bit of a message that will hopefully resonate with you, and hopefully that is the reason why you're magnetized and pulled towards this video. But yeah, I'm just going to basically pull these cards and see what advice we can get to help us through this transition period between now and when the arrival of Three Eye Atlas comes, to bring and seed those ancient codes from billions of years ago, which are deeply going to shape our energetic bodies and the way we interact with each other and the way we interact with our society. So, the first card here you'll see is actually coming from a psychic tarot deck, or a psychic oracle card deck. And it is a card that says transformation. So I'm going to read it to you first of all and then do a little bit of an interpretation. But the reading from the actual book says, "A time of endings is close at hand. Don't resist the abrupt changes that are suddenly happening in your life. These could be taking place in your personal life, relationships, business, or career. You have the strength, as the transformation card asks you to have courage and to know that renewal follows every conclusion. This card comes forth to remind you that the death of an old way of thinking and believing must occur before you can move forward on your new path. Transformation is all about the ebb and flow of life cycles. Nothing in this life remains motionless. Everything is on its way to somewhere. Accept the changes, and opportunity will come to expand you in more ways than you could have ever imagined. You can't live in the past. It's time to move on. In order to look in order to take the next positive step, you should look closely at your own life and ask yourself, are there loose ends that need to be tied up? Are there people in my life who I need to express myself to? What needs to be completed so I can have a fresh start? When you do so, you'll have a stronger, more reinforced foundation to carry you through the new beginnings that await you." So the traditional tarot archetype is death. Seems very symbolic for the time that we're going through. It very much is a death of the old and a rebirth of the new. And so you can sort of see within the card, this, let's say, fairy is shedding her skin, and the wings are coming out in a way that maybe the wings and the color have never been seen before. So it's really a great sign for where you're going. And it's just, if you can surrender through the difficult process of breaking open that shell and ridding yourself from that confined place to be free to express yourself and explore in many different ways, then yeah, that can really help you to accept this process and be more okay with the death that's taking place. So the next oracle card that I'm going to pull here is this one from the bottom corner. It's coming from the Sacred Rebels oracle card deck. So let's see what we got. I haven't actually seen any of them other than the first one, so this will help be a fresh reading. So now the card is number 28, which says collaborative dreaming. So the message for this one is, your heart is big enough to dream, not only for yourself, but for a new humanity. Imagine a world that is healed with respect, understanding, and with community that fosters life. Even your dreams that relate to you alone will contribute positively to the greater good, because that is the nature of your heart. Your heart naturally and intelligently cooperates in a grand scheme of loving creativity, working to heal the hearts of the world. The heart creates win-win situations that benefit the individual and the collective. You are being asked to honor your growing desire to co-create with conscious, like-minded people. Your collaborative dreaming is a heart-inspired win-win, bringing mutual enhancement to yourself and others. The heart wants to love and be loved. Working with others creatively is a way to allow the heart to grow. It is a chance for you to learn how to honor yourself and others, and to find ways to live and let live, simply by growing and strengthening your active trust in your heart's guidance. You are asked to bear the rough patches that can happen when you work creatively with others. Ideas might clash and there can be friction, particularly if you have different ways of working. Sometimes big dreams need more fire to ignite them into reality. More fire might require more friction along the creative path. It is not meant to be a permanent condition, just an aspect of the creative process from which you can learn something useful if you wish. Your guidance is to embrace any experiences of friction or tension within yourself or as you work with another with compassion, detachment, and tolerance. This oracle is guiding you to stay in your integrity. Honor what you feel and remember why you chose to open up to a group of endeavors in the first place, especially if the group involvement becomes complex or challenging. Call on unconditional love each day and evening. It only takes a moment to do. I call on unconditional love. Please help and guide me and this project. You are going through this experience or will be in the near future because you are part of a new creative learning program for humanity. This learning program is taking place at a spiritual level and it requires highly individualistic and creative people to learn to work with each other without compromising who they are in order to reach a common creative goal. It is wonderful, important, and challenging creative and spiritual work. You need a strong sense of self to be able to engage in the process and not lose your voice during the journey. So, I do think that is a very symbolic card about the time that we're going through specifically, because it really seems like we are at this sort of threshold where we're moving away from the lone wolf archetype into the united light worker archetype, where we are all coming together in our sovereign selves. And that can be hard because if you've been used to being alone for a long time, then you're conditioned and comfortable in that position. And in order to work with other people, inevitably sacrifices are going to have to be made and there's going to have to be compromise. And for strong-willed people like us, it's hard to, give up those creature comforts and embrace the new and learn to follow rather than lead, learn to listen instead of be the one talking. But it is important to do this because the future of collaboration really is a future that involves each person bringing their unique gifts to the table and all of us having this collective understanding that there are going to be some things that other people are better at than us. And so it's better in these situations to hand over the reins to them. And then when it's our time to shine with our strengths to, come out of the shadows and allow our light to illuminate the world. But the only way this can be done is if we all take turns passing on the torch or the talking stick, let's say, and sharing in each other's gifts at the appropriate time. So, yeah, it definitely feels like an important thing to be aware of as we transition between these times. So let's go ahead and move on to the next card up here. So this one is coming from Shaman Dream Oracle card deck. I'll show you a little glimpse of all of them at the end, potentially. But yeah, it's called a tidy house number 1. Should be easy to find. So a tidy house. Clarity and organization. A thorough inventory. An auspicious symbol. If your emotional world feels messy and unruly and you can't seem to get clear, it's time to see how your environment is affecting you. Although your inner world has a huge impact on what shows up in your outer world, the reverse is also true. You can be influenced by the people who populate your daily life and the energy of the objects you surround yourself with. Basically, everything in your surroundings. Now is the time for an inventory and full clearing of your environment. Ask for clarity from your relationships and do not make assumptions at this time. Clear and unambiguous communication is key. You may choose to let go of some people from your life when this shows up. This is a good thing. Otherwise, you might stay in these relationships too long out of a sense of obligation and social courtesy, when in truth there is nothing holding you together. Be impeccable with your word, say what you mean, and be willing to make whatever changes are necessary to clean up your side of the street. If you know you are doing the right thing, it doesn't matter who has an opinion. That said, right now, once you are sure your proverbial house is a tidy one, there is a release of energy to begin new things, to enjoy life, and to know with certainty you are on the right path. So I really love this card, especially coming up now, because I think it is indicative of what we are all doing as a society is we are going into the dirty corners of the house of the collective and cleaning it up and really taking a look at what's there and what's old and what's dusty and what is taking up space that's preventing the new from being born, and we're being asked to take a serious look at that and do the due diligence, do the work of cleaning it up. I also love it because when you look at it from this perspective, it doesn't seem as overwhelming or as difficult as maybe the mainstream narrative would have you believe. It doesn't have to be any more difficult than just cleaning and organizing and taking inventory of what you have so that you can use the abundance that you have at your disposal to its full efficiency and greatest capacity. But if you have tools in your closet that are just taking up space and not being used, then you aren't capitalizing on your full potential. So yeah, cleaning is not necessarily fun. It's not always the nicest thing to do, but when you're done and the house is clean and you have that fresh energy, then it's so rewarding and it feels so good. I personally love cleaning, and a lot of the spiritual practices I've been a part of, cleaning is a huge part of almost every community. And it is basically the physical manifestation of what we're doing internally, cleaning up our internal energy through cleaning up our external energy. Like the card said, the two go back and forth. So if you do have a messy room, if you do have an area in your life that you haven't paid attention to for a long time, it might be time to give that some attention and get everything in order. Prepare the base for the takeoff that's going to be coming in mid-December. So, all right, moving on to the next one. This is also from the same Shaman's Oracle card deck, and it's Cosmic Womb, the Divine Feminine. So, creativity, the Divine Feminine. The cosmic womb is a reminder that you're undergoing a beautiful process of birthing a new self into being. You don't know who or what it is yet, but you know it's full of life and love and passion and spirit. It's the perfect expression of you, imbued with love incarnate, and ignited by the vital spark received from the divine. If you've had a difficult time in recent memory, feeling dry and stagnant or lost and unsupported, this is changing right now. You will feel newly inspired as so many ideas beckon for your attention. Know that you're safe to explore the expression of your rejuvenated creativity, releasing all judgment. As your curiosity is piqued, you're in the most fertile cycle of your life right now, intuitively keen, with heart wide open, mindful that each step in the direction of your dreams and desires is effortlessly supported by all the divine helpers in the unseen realms. So, what I really like about this card, especially as it relates to this time, is the cosmic womb and the divine feminine does seem to be the energy that's rising. If you look at basically duality, it would say that there are plenty of polar opposites in this universe. And in order to merge that duality, you need to go from that two back into one. And really, I think that the masculine energy has been more predominant on the planet for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And so, to compensate that, to bring humanity back into balance, there's been this rising of the divine feminine, and especially learning to see the womb as sacred and not just something to be abused or not to be, used for the sake of getting money and whatever else, right? Like, there's been lots of inappropriate relationships that many of us have had to the womb space. And traditionally, you would think of the womb as this dark, void, empty, sort of treacherous, maybe scary place for some people. And this card depicts it as nothing but light, just this beautiful light energy that is a free creative expression, a free creation of whatever wishes to be manifest. And so it's a totally different perspective to see it from. And yeah, I think what the cosmic womb allows us as individuals to do is to become more like Source, because Source is the ultimate creator. It is one that basically has created everything that exists in our reality. And when you yourself give birth to something in this reality, you are activating that same potential within yourself. So if we do want to step into more of our power, into more of our greatest multidimensional selves, then creation, and not only creation, but your unique expression of creation, creating the things that only you can create, seems to be the way to do that. So, yeah, the more time you can spend alone in isolation, basically in a place that's maybe encouraging, not looking outwards, but creating from within, that can be a really useful way to help you to manifest that dream life that you're after and bring in more abundance to you, knowing that your creations will hopefully be appreciated and valued in the way that they deserve to be for their uniqueness and their authentic, beautiful gift that it offers. So moving on now, the final card here is going to be, nice, dropped it a little bit. So this is coming from the Archangel Power Tarot card deck. And so this is Four of Gabriel. So Four of Gabriel says, it's a time for a celebration. You've worked hard and are entitled to some rest and relaxation. Your project has come to a successful completion, and now you can feel a sense of great pride and happiness. Release yourself from situations that feel burdensome. Expand your social life. You deserve to have a little fun. Important events such as engagement, marriage, or moving in together as a couple are likely. It's a time of stability and peacefulness. Additional meanings of this card say a very special day, freedom from responsibility, the joy of life, a promotion, or new job. So I think that that is really beautiful for a couple different reasons. The first is that so often many of us who are on this path and many of the people who will be called to listen to this reading, we work really hard. We are continually working to serve humanity and serve the collective and doing the best we can to expand ourselves and our capacities and our knowledge. And it can be really difficult, hard work sometimes. And I think we're so focused on getting to this beautiful new world that we know is possible. But we often don't spend enough time enjoying the process along the way and celebrating how far we've come. Because if you really look back to yourself, like even 6 months ago, compared to who you are now, I imagine that there is some need for celebration. It's really, I guarantee you that there are some changes you've made that deserve being celebrated, because even within 6 months' time, I'm sure you're a drastically different person now than you were back then. Even if it's subtle differences, every ounce of love that we can inherit and work towards developing makes such a big difference in the grand scheme of things. Because time really is connected, right? So you impact one person now, 500 years from now, that is going to continue to ripple out in ways that we can't even possibly predict or imagine. So yeah, celebrating along the way and celebrating how far we've already come is amazing. It also sort of tells us that the changes that are taking place are already concrete enough that there's no way that they can't possibly happen. So you can sort of let go of how tightly you're gripping the steering wheel and how hard you're pressing down the pedal and surrender to the changes, because, it's already happening. It's impossible for it not to happen. And I think the final message that goes along with all of these cards put together, if there was this sort of collective energy that I'm picking up from these cards, it is to, yeah, basically not work so hard. I think the key to the future is having really amazing work that helps people in a lot of ways, but that work that's very easeful, that is basically not draining you and not causing you to be in a lot of stress or worry, but work that is enjoyable and work that you're doing because you want to do it, not because you have to do it. So the more we can step into ease and flow, then the more we are understanding the true nature of the universe and bringing that into alignment with our actions, yeah, the more divine blessings will come our way. And not only that, you have to remember that we aren't just here to accomplish things, but the whole point is to enjoy the dance along the way, not just get to the end. So it really seems to be a missing key is now is our time to enjoy this and make it easy and fun. And that is the reason why we're here in the first place. So if this message resonated with you today, you can send it to other people who you might think will resonate with it as well. Also, I'll have more readings of these coming up, especially some that will happen on like full moons and stuff like that to make them a little more fun and exciting. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. If you're interested in receiving a private reading, I do have a link to that down below. But otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day and believe in yourself.